Actually, let's say if you was earning 3% and your accounts dropped 20% and you had a rate of return of 3%, it would take you 7.5 years just to break even again.
Level up.
This is Blair Durham with Black Wall Street Today, your media hub for all things Black entrepreneurship, politics, news, and events in Hampton Roads and beyond.
When I say black, y'all say Wall Street. Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street.
Welcome back. It's the 103rd edition of Black Wall Street Today with Blair Durham. It's time for hashtag Money Talk. And this is sponsored, as always, by Apex Financial Group of Virginia. How are you doing, Mr. Gray? What are you sharing with us today, sir?
We're going to talk today about retirement planning.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Okay, let's get started. The golden rule, and we're all familiar with the golden rule. The golden rule tells us that people don't plan to fail at retirement. They just simply fail to plan. So with that in mind, I want to start off by discussing or asking 4 questions. Actually, 3 questions. I'm going to start with 3 questions today. And these questions will lead us into what we call risks that we face at retirement. Okay, so the first question is, would you like to pay less taxes on your IRA money? Would you like to pay less taxes on your IRA money? The second question, would you like to retire without having to rely on Social Security? Would you like to retire without having to rely on Social Security? And the third question is, do you want the IRA or the IRS, not the IRA, but the IRS, out of your IRA money? I repeat that. Do you want the IRS out of your IRA money? So now, let's start off by looking at these questions. And Blair, most people probably answer these questions with a hearty yes. Okay, they would like to pay less taxes. They would like to have money besides Social Security. And 3, they would like to basically not have to deal with the IRS. Okay, now, so we're going to talk about market risk. Okay, we're going to talk about risk. 5 risks that we all need to be concerned with when it comes to retirement planning. Whether you retire now or planning on to retire, these are 5 major risks that we should be made well informed of, and we should recognize these risks because these risks are very important to having a successful retirement. The first risk that we're going to talk about today and how we can avoid these risks so that it won't hurt us is what we call market risk.
Okay.
Now, market risk is what we call the big one. And the reason for that then is because the majority of, most people's retirement money is invested in the market. Now, with the market being volatile as it is right now, the market goes up and the market comes down. But when the market drops, you may or can lose a big chunk, okay, of your retirement assets. So that's called market risk. Number 2, tax risk. That's another risk that we should be concerned with when it comes to retirement planning, tax risk. Okay. Currently, Blair, our country, right now, Blair, is about $26 trillion in debt. $26 trillion, over $20 trillion, getting close to $26 trillion in debt, okay? This is national debt. Now, if you want to pay off the national debt, that means that your taxes will have to go up. So if your taxes goes up, then that can have an effect on what? Your retirement accounts, okay, your retirement income. Third, inflation. And when I think about inflation, I like to use the word real or 100%. Now, what inflation tells us that the cost of goods rises every year, okay? Now, in order for us to stay ahead of inflation, we have to have more high interest rate, okay, than what the current rate of inflation is, which means that you would have to be able to at least withdraw what the inflation rate is in order to keep up, okay, with what you have in your accounts. Now, so with that said, we have a reality here. The reality is that inflation is here, it's real, and what it does, prices goes up. The fourth item, or the fourth risk, is what we call health care. This is a big one, too, because a lot of times, Blair, most individuals, when they do retirement planning, they don't calculate in health care. And this is a reality. So I ask the question, does your retirement plan take into consideration the cost of health care? And the last risk that we're going to talk about is 5 risks, is what we call longevity. Now, what's interesting, Blair, about this group of risks is that if I were to take a poll today with our audience and ask them what they probably would think about, or how would they answer of these 5 risks, which of these 5 risks would be the most dangerous? And the majority would probably come back and say market risk or inflation. But in reality, longevity is the biggest risk you'll face in retirement. And I know that's kind of surprising a lot of people, but it is. And the reason for that being is because longevity just amplifies all of the other 4 risks.
Right.
And the reason for that being is because the longer you live, the longer you have to what? Deal with all the other 4 risks. Now, so with all this said, we have a program here, okay, Apex Financial Group, that help you to minimize these market risks. And you can have a free consultation today on retirement planning by just calling us at this number today, 757-640-0207, for a free consultation, and we will discuss all these risks, because each risk has a lot of information that you need to, be made aware of. So again, if you'd like to have a free consultation concerning retirement planning, concerning these 5 risks that I just discussed, you can call us today at 757-640-0207. Now, moving on. If we look at market risk, and if your account had a loss of 20%, let's say you had a 20% loss due to market volatility. This is market risk I'm speaking of. You will have to actually, let's say if you was earning 3% and your accounts dropped 20% and you had a rate of return of 3%, it would take you 7.5 years just to break even again. And so you can see how important it is that we eliminate market risk, because let's say if you were 75 and you had a 20% drop in your account, and you only earn the 3% rate of return on your investments, it would take you 7, almost 8 years just to break even. So you'd be at 83. You'd be back where you started at. See, that's why these things are very important, Blair, because market risk is important. Also, too, what we want to look at, too, Blair, is the fact that when you look at all the retirement monies that we put into our retirement accounts, whether it be a 401k, IRA, 403b, etc., we need to understand that the bulk of our money is going into probably qualified money, what we call qualified versus non-qualified money. Qualified money is more valuable than non-qualified money because you're limited, okay, in your annual contribution to an IRA or 401k. And so with that being said, that's why it's important, okay, that you have your money in something that's safe, and you want to make sure that you avoid market risk and market volatility. And so moving on, we have all these things in place here when it comes to retirement planning, okay? We'll show you how to avoid market risk. We'll show you how to make sure that your portfolio is well balanced. We'll show you how to make sure that you eliminate certain portions of risk. And we can give this all to you with a free consultation by just calling us today at 757-640-0207. And again, these 5 market risks is market risk, tax risk, inflation risk, healthcare risk, and longevity. All these risks should be actually looked at, recognized, and they should be considered as part of your retirement planning. And that's why we want to give this free consultation to you again today at no cost by calling us today at 757-640-0207, and you can have this free consultation. And I tell you, it's very important because, like I said, a lot of individuals like to have a retirement without just depending on Social Security. It's nice to have both, but we like to have both of them coming in. So again, we would like to give that to you. And also, too, Blair, you look at all these different risks that we're talking about here, retirement risk, we have to understand that we look at inflation, we look at the value of the dollar. All of these things have to really go into consideration. One statement was made about inflation. They talked about the value of the dollar, and they said inflation is as violent as a mugger, as frightening as an armed robber, and as deadly as a hitman. And that's what they talk about. That's what they speak about when they talk about inflation. So you can see that all these things, okay, you have to look at all these risks. And I'm going to give you a quick comparison of how devastating inflation can be. All right, for example, the cost of living in the United States, 1975 versus 2015. In 1975, a new house, the cost of a new house was only $48,000. Okay, and in 2015, that cost went up to $270,000, and that's because of what we call inflation. A new car back in 1975 was $3,800. Okay, the median cost in 2015 was close to about $31,000. You can see that all these things are important, because if we don't keep up with the risk, then guess what? We can be in for a pleasant surprise. And also, too, when it comes to health care, the average cost, and this is a survey, these are real numbers, out-of-pocket health care, okay, estimates for a 65-year-old couple can reach from $296,000 to $399,000. So again, when it comes to health care risk, these are things that you have to look at, because if you don't have these things in your plan, then you'll be in for a pleasant surprise. Also, too, when it comes to health care expenses, Medicare covers only about 62%, okay, of expenses, okay, associated with healthcare services. So again, what we do, we sit down with you and we'll look at all these different risks, and we'll put together a solid plan for you, so that way you can have a decent retirement and you have the income coming in, so that way you can have the income that you can be comfortable with and have a decent retirement. And again, you can have this by calling today. The number again is 757-640-0207 for your free consultation, and we'll be more than happy to look at all these different risks, which include the 5 risks that I discussed, and we'll give you information on how you can have a solid and a real successful retirement. So Blair, this is very important, because a lot of times these risks are never considered when it comes to retirement planning, and these are the type of risks sometimes can cause setbacks, and it can cause individuals not to have enough money to live on. So again, we want to make sure that everybody understands that these are important things when it comes to retirement planning, and it's available to you today by just calling us. Again, at 757-640-0207. Any questions there for you as we wrap up this session here? Anything that you have in your mind that you'd like to talk about or ask a question about, feel free to do so.
No, I'm excited. We've got less than a minute remaining. Just reiterate your contact information once more. What can I do if I want to receive this complimentary consultation?
You can call us today, 757-640-0207. And also, too, Blair, we also, for individuals that would like to go virtual, we can do virtual planning as well, appointments, as well as office appointments. So again, this is very important. I tell you, this is a very important piece right here, Blair. I'm telling you, these risks that I discussed, they're very important when it comes to retirement planning. And so again, you can have it by calling us today at 757-640-0207. All right?
Fantastic. Thank you so much. This has been a phenomenal segment. We always look forward to the information that you share. Apex Financial Group of Virginia.
This show is brought to you by Positive Vibes Incorporated, our consulting services. We do credit fixes, tax resolution, we lend private money to real estate investors, and we do debt consolidations. Basically, we put money in your pocket when you need money. We put money in your pocket when you need money. 757-932-0177. Throughout the United States, credit fixes, tax resolution, lending private money to real estate investors, and debt consolidation. 757-932-0177. 757-932-0177.
Phenomenal. Stay with us online at Black Wall Street Today on Facebook and Black Wall Street Today on Instagram. And then follow us on Twitter as well at BWS Today. We look forward to talking again next week. Have a wonderful week. I have said and I will continue to say that the most important priority for the Black community is the Black community, not a particular political party. Phenomenal.
Hey, yo, when I say black, you say Wall Street. Black Wall Street. When I say black, you say Wall Street. Black. When I say black, you say Wall Street. Black. When I say black, you say Wall Street. Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street.